Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Sir Abdul Karim over here again, and today we will discuss whatever we have studied in the class regarding uh, chapter 8, exercise 8A, which was regarding introduction of percentage, and whatever we studied in that topic, we will discuss it over here. As a summary, I will summarize all the things that we have studied in the class. So pay attention and try to just grasp as much as you can. So first of all, we studied what is percentage. Percentage is out of 100. We divide anything into 100 equal parts and we represent um, an, a quantity which is out of these 100 parts as a percentage. Okay. So first of all, we studied that how to represent a percentage as a fraction. For example, we studied that let's suppose that we have a box and we divide it into 100 equal parts. Okay, just like this. Okay, so if a box and we divide it into 100 equal parts, and for, what if we have to represent the shaded region? Okay, so if we count, this is equal to 75 boxes out of 100, so it is 75% or 75 upon 100. In fraction we can represent it as 75 over 100 and it can be expressed as 75 percentage. So it is actually the x percentage can be represented in fraction as x over 100. And we can simplify these fractions to get a simplified fraction. Okay. For example, this is word example over here. In this word example, um, the question is like express each of the following percentages as fraction. So 88% we have to represent it as fraction. So it is 88 upon 100. We can simplify, reduce to lowest term. So it is 22 upon 25. Similarly, we have done all the other parts of this question. They have been done over there. So it is, for example, this is 128%. We have to represent it in fraction. So 128 divided by 100, it is 32 upon 25 expressed in the lowest term. Now, one more thing that we discussed is that whenever numerator is bigger than denominator, then we have to simplify it further, and we have to write it as mixed number. By mixed number, we mean that whole number, one part is whole number and the other part is fraction. Whatever is left over, that is equal to fraction. And this happens when we have numerator bigger than denominator. In first part, 22 upon 25, the denominator was bigger, so no need for to we cannot just write it down to mixed number. So it is the lowest number. Okay, but in this second part, it is actually 32 upon 25, which can be written as one whole 7 upon 25. So we write it like this. Okay, similarly all the other parts are done. And I had a previous video regarding how to convert decimal into fraction and things like that, which will be helpful over here as well. For example, in third part, we have to represent 0.5% as a fraction. So for that part, 0.5 divided by 100, and 0.5 is again a decimal. We have to convert it into whole number. So for that, we multiply and divide the fraction by 10. So it will be 5 upon 1000. Okay. So it was like this. So this was the first part of that exercise. Second part was to express percentages as decimal. First of all, we did it. We express the percentages as fraction. For decimal, what we can do, we can just divide it. Okay. We have to divide it. For example, 85% is 85 upon 100, and fraction it is 85 upon 100. And for decimal, what we can do, we can just divide it. And I explained in the previous video that when you have to convert any number with denominator multiple of 10, or it's a number having power of you can say that it is um, square of 10 or cube of 10. Okay, so any number, any power of 10. So if it is in denominator, what we do, we just shift the decimal. Okay, if it is 85, so decimal is over here, so we have 100 in the denominator, so we shift this point two places towards the left, so it becomes 0.85. Okay, the decimal come over here, so it becomes 0.85. So it was easy as far as we have denominator, which is power of any number, exponential number, 10 raised to power any number, 10 square, 10 cube, a number like these. Okay, what is the case when we have a percentage in decimal or fraction? For example, we had we had 0.7%. Okay, and into we had to convert it into fraction. Okay, so first of all we will convert it into fraction and then into decimal. So first what we will do, we will just multiply and divide it by 10. Okay, so it will become equal to 7 upon 1000, and then we can simply just uh, move this decimal towards the left, which is after 7, so it will be 1, 2, and 3 steps, so it will be 0.007, 0 over here, 0 over here, and things like that. Okay, so it will be like this. And for any number, any percentage which is in fraction, what we will do, for example, over here it was 7 whole 1 upon 8%. We have to convert it into fraction first. So it is 57 upon 8. 8 7 is 56. 56 plus 1 is 57. 57 upon 8 divided by 100. Now, I told you guys in the class as well that whenever you divide a fraction by any number, you can just change the divide sign into multiply sign with that number being reciprocal. So it was 100 divided by 100, it changed into multiply by 1 over 100. Okay, it changed into multiply 1 over 100. So we can just simplify it. So it is 57 upon 800, and we can just divide it and we get 0.7125. Okay, next part. Okay, next part, what we did was expressing one quantity as percentage of another quantity. So as I told you in the start of this lecture as well, that if we have to represent any quantity in percentage, we divide the original quantity into 100 equal parts, and then we represent uh, uh, whichever quantity we want to represent as a percentage of those parts. So over here, the example was given that 90 teachers in a school, of which 40 were male, and obviously 90 minus 40 is 50, so 50 were female. So male teachers were 40, 40 male teachers, and 50 female teachers were there in the school. So we have to calculate the percentage of male teacher. So male teacher were, so what was the total? Now it is not, it is given over here that total teachers were 90. So out of 90, 40 were male. So we can just write uh, the fraction as the fraction of teachers which were male is 40 over 90, and just multiply it by 100 to change this fraction into a percentage. Okay. Now I told you guys, whenever a decimal or a fraction is given, you can easily just convert it into percentage by multiplying it by 100. Okay, a fraction, number, or decimal, you can just easily convert them by multiplying with 100%. 100. Okay, so it will become a percentage. They both will become what? Percentage. percentage. Okay, so this is how we will do it. Okay, so 40 divided by 90 multiply by 100, so we got 44 whole 4 upon 9%. Okay, next part. Next part was how many female teachers are there. So there are two methods. So there are two methods to do this part. Okay, one method is that either the teachers will be male or a female or female. So you can simply just divide it. So sorry, subtract the percentage number of the percentage of male teacher from 100, that is shown in method 2. 100 minus the percentage of male teacher, you got the percentage of female teachers over here like this. Okay, and the other method is, you out of total teacher you subtract male teacher, you get number of female teachers, and then again representing the female teacher as fraction of total number of teachers, and multiply by 100, you get the percentage of female teachers. Okay, so these are two methods. You can use either of these two methods, whichever you like. Okay, next, the next part that we discussed was finding the percentage of a quantity. Okay, percentage of a quantity. For example, we are given that some certain percentage and we want to find exact quantity, we can do it as well. For example, over here the worked example was like this. A class has 40 students, given that 75% of them passed in maths test. Calculate the number of students who failed. Okay, we have to calculate number of students who failed. So there are again two methods. One method is that 75 has passed, so we calculate number of students who have passed and subtract it from the total students, which is 40. Okay, so 40 minus 30. Okay, so we get the answer. So this is one example. The other example that we can use is, the other example that we can use or the other method that we can use is, sorry, 100 minus 75, 25% students were failed. We calculate the 25% of 40, we get 10. Okay, so this was the other method that we can use. So these were the two methods that we discussed. Next thing that we discussed in the class was comparing two quantities by percentage. And an example that we discussed in 2011, 600 out of 1600 people passed an entrance test in a school, and 400 out of 1000 people have passed the entrance test of the same school in 2012. In which year did the higher percentage of people pass the test? Now we have to calculate the percentage of people who passed the test in 2011 and in 2012. Okay, so we calculated both the percentages. So in 2011, 600 out of 1600 have passed. We represented it in the form of fraction and we just multiplied by 100 to get the percentage, okay, which is 37.5%. In 2012, what we did, we just again represented it in the form of fraction. 400 students out of 1000 passed the test. Multiply by 100, we got 40%, which is a higher percentage of students passed the entrance test of the school in 2012. Okay, so both the percentage are with us. In 2011, although number of students who passed the test were greater than the number of students who passed the test in 2012, but the percentage is lower in 2011 and percentage is higher in 2012. Okay, so this is how you do the comparison with the help of percentage. Now, so that these were the examples that we did, and similar questions were there in exercise 8A. Okay, comparing the two percentages, representing one quantity as a percentage of another quantity. For example, 25 seconds as a percentage of 3.5 seconds, 3.5 minutes. We have to convert, for example, in question number 9, we have to convert minutes into seconds and then solve to get the answer. Okay, so these were the questions. You must have done the questions in your copies as well. Use this video and try to understand whatever you have done in the class. And if you still have some questions, you are more than welcome to come to me and ask for it.